and welcome to our show today. Today I have the real life bionic woman with me, a very, very dear friend, Maria Paonessa, only she says it the Italian way, and I don't. But we're going to talk about a lot of things today that you may or may not have experienced in your life, and Maria has overcome an unbelievable amount of things in the recent years. So I want her to talk about that and how she has overcome them. And I'm going to introduce you to her now. So Maria, thank you for joining us. And please say your last name.
Paonessa.
Paonessa. And I say Paonessa.
That's
right?
okay.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay.
Okay. You know, Maria, when I first met you, I mean, you were a firecracker. You still are, again. But, I mean, you were a firecracker working, going to meetings, raising children, every single thing. And the Sister of the Year, I mean, you fly to Australia and Italy and all these places and everything. And suddenly you had a little bit of a problem. I mean, you were working as a cosmetician and you were doing hair all the time. You were around chemicals all the time. And you had a little bit of a problem. So let's start there.
Well, I wouldn't call it a little bit of a problem. Actually.
Well, you made it seem like a little bit of a problem.
Well, no, it actually started out when I was diagnosed with vasculitis. And that's an autoimmune disease. That's what brought me to making a radical paradigm shift. And it slowed me down a bit, but as soon as I started feeling better, then I just went right back on the merry-go-round. And it kept going faster and faster and faster until I got hit even harder with cancer. And then I had no choice but to really take it seriously and make that change and stay in that change.
So how many years ago was that now?
The cancer was 2016.
But the vasculitis, when was
that
it?
was in 2012.
12.
Yeah. 2010, I'm sorry, 2010, yeah. But really, what helped me tremendously was all the self-help classes I took, seminars. I think it was preparing me for what was to come. And so my spiritual retreats, my seminars with Dr. Wayne Dyer, God rest his soul, really. He was the best life coach. Between him and Dr. Cordis, you've met him
Yeah,
and
the
you've had him on the
cardiologist,
show. Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yes, who taught me meditation. Then my yoga guru, Rushka Wiesen, is who taught me really an even deeper type of meditation and yoga.
Yeah, but I mean, you were in traditional medicine at first. You even went to Minnesota, didn't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I went to
The
Mayo
clinic,
Clinic,
Mayo
yeah.
Clinic.
But I kind of fell in the cracks there. I did. I was there for 8 days, testing, but they really couldn't. They couldn't do much. They couldn't tell me much, So between the mental, spiritual, and then physical therapies that I myself seek and practice is what brought me
Well, what
back.
would you say is good or bad about traditional medicine when it comes to these treatments?
I really have to, I can't say it's bad, because probably if I didn't have the chemo and radiation, maybe I wouldn't be here today. Really. And believe me, I had a hard time making the decision to actually go and have it done. I had so many people trying to help me by advising me, oh, don't have it done, you're going to die if you have it done. Some people, if you don't have it done, you will die. So it was a real struggle. And I had to go on my mountain, I call it. I went to my spiritual retreat and completely surrendered the whole thing. And then it was clear to me that I needed to give it my all, really. I mean, doctors can help you to a point. Nature can help you to a point, but then you're the one who actually has to put everything into practice. You can't just have one without the other. You have to have it all together. So yes, it has its side effects, you know, but I had to, it was either that or die.
Did you get chemo and radiation at the same time?
Yes, yes.
Well, that should have knocked you out.
I was knocked
Yeah.
out. I mean, nobody thought I would make it through. I was hospitalized 12 times that year. My longest stay in the hospital was about 23 days. And all the other times would be a week, 10 days, 20 days. I mean, it was really, thinking back, I don't know how I came out, but I did. All I know is that when I was there at the hospital, my husband said, "Oh my God, I can't believe that you can stay in this room by yourself and not get bored." So I was bored. I said, "That's not even in my vocabulary ever." That's one thing I can never say I am bored. Never. I found ways when I was in the hospital to pass the time, and it would be, I would get up, even though they said, "Oh, you can't get up without help." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Watch me," you know. I'd get up with all my IVs and just walk around the room. And then I did a lot of writing while I was in the hospital. That helped me so much. I don't know if you read any of my blogs, but that's when I was blogging at the time. So that was a big help to me. And, you know, I did a lot of meditation, writing, reading, educating myself continuously, and making sure that whenever I was in the consciousness that I was going down, meaning my attitude was getting darker and hopelessness would knock on the door, then I would remember what I had learned. And only I could switch that button in my mind, and it's like, come on, get out of there, you know, change station, you know. It's
Well,
like,
when they hospitalized you, what was the reason for it? Side effects of the medicine?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
always because my white cells were completely down, and infections. It was mostly infections. I even got C. diff while I was in the hospital. It was
Well, you had
the worst.
COVID too.
I
Yeah.
had COVID. I had a blood clot in my lung, pneumonia. The vasculitis just erupted again, like worse than ever. All of that. But here I am, and I'm,
Smiling and taking care of a sick brother and
well,
sons and daughters and
that's okay, because I love that. You know, it gives me a sense of purpose, you know, and so that helps me too.
so is everything considered clear now?
Well,
If any of us, I don't think
you know,
any of us are completely
right,
clear. I think
exactly.
everybody has it. It's just,
I have to, you know, I'm still under, you know, surveillance, you know, so I'm in remission right now, you know, so.
well, like I said, I had a doctor on one time years ago. We talked about it, and I said my belief is that everybody has cancer. It's just your body's ability to control it at the time, and your immune system's ability. When your immune system is off, you know.
And that's what happened, because I got the vasculitis first, and then after that is when I was diagnosed.
However,
with the
that might
cancer.
have been a superficial symptom of what was really going on underneath. They just didn't find it.
Yeah, could be, could be.
Because that slowed you down a little bit, but then you,
Well,
you were
it-
revved up again, and then it stopped.
But I'm revved up in a different way now. I went from a life of ambition to a life of meaning.
Well, explain that to us.
Ambition, you know, you gotta achieve, 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 achieve. Meaning is like, what I really have to achieve is a place inside of me where I feel fulfilled, and happy inside and at peace.
Do you use breathing exercises?
I do.
And where'd you learn that? On your own too?
No, from Rushka,
Mm-hmm.
my yoga teacher. Yeah.
That was to calm you down during all of
Yes.
these things?
Yes.
Because you have
yes.
how many children?
Four.
Well, they're grown
Well,
now.
4 children, 6 grandchildren.
So things go on.
All the time, yes. But you know what? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I don't look at that, it's like, oh my God, it's chaotic. Oh my God, no, it's like, wow, it's fulfilling. This is what I really always wanted. I wanted a big family, and I wanted them around me, and they are.
Close.
Very.
They're moving in with you now, right?
Yeah,
Some of
yeah.
them? But that's because you're
That's
gone
okay.
a lot too. I mean,
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
still traveling internationally?
Well, we're hoping to start again this year. I had to stop for a while, the last time was 2019, just before COVID hit,
I know, and as much as I won't get on a plane, you love being on a plane.
Well, I wouldn't say I love it, but I gotta get there, so.
Yeah, but I mean, you go to Australia and far away
But
places.
see, I have, like I said before, when you change the way you look at things,
Okay, well, tell me how to change that then.
it's the mind. You gotta change the mind, you gotta switch that button
And say what?
and say, okay, I don't wanna look at it that way. Let's see, how else can I look at this? And then you figure it out. You figure out how many other ways you can look at it.
Is that what you did when you were in the hospital, was figure out
Yes.
all of these different things?
Yes.
'Cause were you in a private room or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people had to wear,
Yeah, you were
all
probably
kinds
in
of stuff to come in.
isolation.
Yes, I
and,
was.
And
I was.
reverse isolation and
Yes,
everything else.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. I
Oh,
was.
I'd be watching Hallmark.
Well, I was watching that too.
Were you?
Yes.
That's a nice thing for your mind.
Yes.
'Cause
Oh, I
it's-
love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I do
Yeah.
too. Somebody told me today they're watching all of these things like Chicago Med and violence and all this
Oh,
stuff.
no.
But you know what? I said, you know what? I don't watch that because I lived it.
Yeah.
Because I was in a very busy hospital in a very bad area, and I saw the violence. My husband was a Chicago police detective, so
Yeah.
between all the medical stuff, I just want to watch Hallmark.
Right. No. I agree. No, I don't. I'm careful with what I watch and what I listen to.
And
You
what
know.
are you also careful with? What you eat?
Yes.
So what do you eat?
I eat lots and lots of greens. I'm mostly vegetarian,
Mm-hmm.
mostly plant-based. I mean, once in a while I'll have a little bit of meat. I can't say that I'm a vegan or I'm this or I'm that. I can say mostly. I'm mostly plant-based.
And you don't go out a lot now?
No, because I really, the struggle is still with the white blood cells being too low, so I have to take responsibility for my actions and know the consequences because I've gone through it before.
Did they actually take your cells down? Did you have that kind of a treatment or
No.
Okay.
That's the vasculitis
Mm-hmm.
and the cancer, the chemo, all of that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was bombarded, really. But I would psych myself every time I would walk towards the radiation room, okay? And at one point, it was hard for me to even walk there because that's how weak I was. But I would just, visualize, and I used a lot of visualization. And I would connect with all my spiritual guides and, and just tell them all to be there with me and to guide that beam of radiation to the right spots and not hit anything else. I mean, I would actually really do this ritual, as I would walk. It's like,
How long was the radiation treatment when you were actually in there?
oh God, I don't remember now.
Well, first of
Maybe
all, they
like
didn't take you in a
15
wheelchair.
minutes.
Did you insist on walking or
Oh,
what?
no, I insisted on walking.
Yeah.
That wasn't good.
I don't know, my knee acts up and I jump in the rider in the store. I told someone, never do that, never give in to that. I love it. You can whip through the store fast, and when you have to stand in line, you don't stand.
Oh, that's right. You're
That's right.
sitting. Yeah, no, no, no. I mean, if I can walk, then I'm gonna walk. But I don't know. The actual treatment itself was maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes.
So then after you had the treatment, when did you get the side effect? What happened to you?
Well, I was going there every day.
Yeah.
So.
So you were
it-
sick at night every day?
Yeah, I was sick day and night. It was constant.
Did you ever feel like you wanted to give up?
Yes.
I mean,
No,
sometimes
not.
what-
I didn't feel like I wanted to give up on life.
Yeah.
No, no. I felt like I wanted to stop the treatments, and I was always, talking to the oncologist, and he says, well, the protocol. It's protocol. I'm not like everybody. Look at what it's doing to me. Then he finally, actually, really, he listened finally, because I was supposed to get, I don't know, 36 treatments, and he finally stopped at 32 because I wasn't gonna make it, and this was after I had the C. diff, and it was bad.
Well, I
really,
mean,
really
sometimes
bad.
when we have a bad case of the flu, we just want to give up. That's why I wondered, when you're that sick that long.
Well, like I said, I didn't want to give up on life. I just wanted to, wish I could just stop those treatments because of what it was doing to me, And so he said, well, okay, he says, but he said, what we'll do is I'll give you fewer, but they're going to be stronger. And I'm thinking to myself, how's that going to be any better? As a matter of fact, it almost killed me, really.
Well, you do have to argue with doctors sometimes. I mean, I used to argue for patients many times, and not
This
everybody's as
particular
resilient as you are.
This particular one, actually, in the very beginning, he really turned me off with following protocol, and just even the way he was talking to me in the beginning. I thought this is just not, it's not acceptable. And I even said that to him when we were all done. He says, okay, well, now you have to sign. I have to sign what? Sign my life away to you? He says, well, if you don't sign, you're not going to get the treatments, So that's when I said to him, everything you said to me and the questions that you asked me, I said, how would you feel if somebody asked those questions and spoke that way to your wife, your daughter, your sister, your mother? He was, yeah, that was the next day, because I had to go back when they had to tattoo me, where they had to do the, he came in with a whole group of his students. And he came in and said, I want everyone to meet this woman. She has courage. She put me in my place, and I want to apologize to her. He said, I never meant any of that. I'm really sorry. These are questions we have to ask this way. I said,
Well, I don't understand, like, what did he say to you that was so
well,
bad? I mean,
well, certain things I really don't even want to talk
Yeah.
about because they were so embarrassing. Embarrassing. Because of the type of cancer that I had. And in those days, it wasn't as common as it's become now. Now it's, a lot of women.
now you're the poster girl?
I guess so, yeah. So, yeah, it was really very demeaning.
Well, who picked the doctor for you? Maybe you should go to a female doctor at the time.
I had a female
Did you?
doctor. The female doctor that I had was for chemotherapy, and she was just as bad. As a matter of fact, I think even worse.
I don't think
because-
they have bedside manner anymore like they did, like when I was in school. We took courses right with the med students and everything. They kind of learned nursing from us, and we learned medicine from them. And it was a unique school. Not many people have that, but
Yeah.
they definitely had, although they came up with some things that shocked me sometimes too. But you know, now I don't know. I mean, I know that when my grandmother had pancreatic cancer, I had a big argument with the oncologist and said what I was going to do and not do and what to do and
Yeah.
not do. And
The oncologist that I had after her was very nice. In fact, I still have him. But she was, really bad. It was terrible. My husband was with me, and he was just shocked at the things that he was hearing, and but also he was in awe of how I was handling everything because he couldn't talk. He couldn't say anything. I had to kind of be my own advocate the whole time, you know. And thank God that I think it's my rebellious nature that was coming out in a good way to
maybe
defend
she
me.
was busy looking at your handsome husband.
Maybe.
Maybe. No, but I know when my grandmother had the pancreatic cancer, I mean, the things I insisted on, she lived for years and went back and forth to Europe when it's unheard of. Most people are gone in a long time.
Yeah.
But I said, you don't tell her she has cancer. We're doing different stuff with her diet. We're not going to give her that medicine. We're going to give it to her orally. He said, there's only one case ever did it. I said, I don't care. This is going to be what we're going to do.
See?
We're not going to make her sick. And, you know, all those things kept her alive. I mean, she was up at 2 o'clock in the morning one time eating a lobster I brought home from Carroll Stream at that seafood restaurant, like she was at a party because of the different things. And other
Yeah.
people were not
It's
doing that.
sad because honestly, all the people that I know that had pancreatic cancer didn't make it.
I know, and she lived almost 8 years.
Wow.
And went back and forth to Europe most. And one time they said, well, we're taking her in the hospital because her blood count was down. I said, no, I'm going to give her this Inferon shot, which is an iron, specifically Z-Track method shot, hard to give, but very good. He said, I won't order it. I said, then I'll give her iron pills. He said, they won't work. I said, watch me. And they did.
Yeah,
So,
see? Well,
but fortunately, I mean, I knew medical stuff, so
well,
not everybody
right,
knows
right,
that. Yeah.
Right, yeah. But, you know, I'm not saying, you know, not to go to, you know, traditional medicine.
No, I don't say that either. I
No.
come from traditional medicine, but
Yeah,
I see a lot of
You
alternatives.
need a balance. You have to have both. You can't just have one and not the other, really. And honestly, I think that that's what's helped me too, is because I want integrative, you know. So, but integrative, not just with the two medicines, but also with the mind, spiritual, all of that.
So
Everything.
you had acupuncture. What else did you have? Tell us so everybody knows.
Oh, I had vitamin C
IV?
infusions.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Also mistletoe. I
Mistletoe.
took mistletoe. Yes. My
How do you
integrative-
take mistletoe? Pills?
Well, there's no. It comes in drops. You know, put it under your
Oh,
tongue,
sublingual?
or
Yeah.
or it's infusions.
Mistletoe. What's that for?
Well, actually, they were doing studies at the Johns Hopkins. Yes, for this. This is for people who, you know, have gone through chemo, and this helps. Yeah, so-
Well, you know, most drugs came from plants that aren't synthetic, and, you know, all of these things
Yeah.
have their reason for
Yeah.
being.
So yes, I did that homeopathic.
Did that help a lot?
Well, it must have.
No, I
must-
mean, what
I-
specific things did you feel
Well-
this is really helping?
Well, honestly, I can't tell you because
It's everyone?
because
Yeah.
I was doing. I wanted to live, and so I would do everything. I educated myself, and you know, but then I also wanted to find out if you're doing this, can you do this in conjunction with that?
Right, so it
you know,
doesn't
so I
react
right,
against each
right,
other, right? Yeah.
So I really spent most of the time educating myself. You know, I read up a lot on all of this.
So what other odd things did you take besides mistletoe? I never heard that one before.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, I took the supplements, supplements that the integrative medicine, which Dr. Ross Rentia really was the best one that I had.
Is that someone here locally?
It in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ross Renzia?
Rentia. Yeah, he and his wife and daughter are all in the clinic, Paulina Clinic. Yeah, because I went to other ones before, and they all wanted to give me all these different vitamins, and then I wound up with a garbage bag full of supplements, because then you would go to somebody else and say, "Oh no, don't take those.
Take these, yeah.
It was awful. The money I spent on all of that, but again, I had to find out for myself, you know,
Well, what was different about them
about.
at the Paulina Clinic?
Oh, he never pushed anything. You know, he just wanted to educate me, and that's up to me. I mean, really, he didn't say, "Oh, don't do that," but you got it. You know, you got to do this. And this is while I was going there for the vitamin C infusions. I think that helped me.
Did you ever know Dr. Majors that wrote Cancer Killers, the book Cancer Killers?
No, no. One of the first books that I read that really helped me was a book called The Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. And they actually were doing studies with petri dishes where they can see the cells, your blood cells,
Multiplying
how
or dying?
how they react, you know, in each environment. And so, you know, I read that genetics is a small percentage of, you know, how you can, you know, healing.
So they're saying environment?
Environment in your body, which means, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you putting junk in your body? Are you thinking obscene things or dark things? Are you depressed?
Watching violence, which you shouldn't do. Yeah.
Well, all of that.
Right.
And that's the environment. So that's why I was adamant about what I listened to, what I read, what I watched, who I surrounded myself, you know, with, and so yes.
We've only got about a minute left, so I want to know what your message is to everyone.
My message is to take responsibility for yourself. Take responsibility for everything that goes in your body, from from your ears, your eyes, your mouth, and your thoughts especially.
And here you are smiling, and you've been through all of this, which is major, major stuff.
Well, like I said, I went from a life of ambition to a life of meaning.
Well, I'm glad we still got you around, kiddo. I hope for a long,
you.
long time.
Thank
We've been talking to Maria, say your last name?
Paonessa.
Paonessa. Thank you so much for joining us and telling us about your journey through all of this.
Thank you for having me.
And I think it's wonderful that you're going to be around for parties and dinners. One of these days we'll get her out again. And thank you for joining us. I'm Karon Gibson. We'll see you next time.